8. According to, due to.
에 의하다, 무로 인하다 소스, howtostudykorean.com.
Below is a list of vocabularies to be used in this lesson. Nouns.
인상,
Means impression.
첫인상,
Means first impression.
거리,
Means distance.
잇몸,
Means the gums of teeth.
심판,
Means referee.
바디퀄,
Means field.
옥수수,
Means corn.
나물,
Means herbs.
오이,
Means cucumber.
호박,
Means pumpkin.
석양,
Means sunset.
일출,
Means sunrise.
차별,
Means discrimination.
성차별,
Means sexual discrimination.
인종,
Means race.
호우,
Means torrential downpour.
사망,
Means death.
사망자,
Means dead people. Death toll.
사망률,
Means death rate.
악기,
Means instrument. Verbs.
심판하다,
Means to judge.
자퇴하다,
Means to drop out of school.
뒷정리하다,
Means to clean up after one is done.
연주하다,
Means to perform an instrument.
어기다,
Means to violate. To break the rules.
승진하다,
Means to promote. A position at work.
오해하다,
Means to misunderstand. Adverbs and other words.
나란히,
Means side by side. Introduction. In the previous two lessons, you were subject to the confusing explanations of
는데,
and.
는데,
Now that those two difficult confusing lessons are finished, I can go easy on you and describe some grammatical principles that aren't as difficult to understand. In this lesson, you will learn about
에 의하다,
and,
으로 인하다,
which look similar but sometimes create different meanings. Let's get started. According to due to,
에 의하다,
attaching
에 의하다,
to a noun in a sentence is usually done in one of two ways. The first usage requires you to attach
으면,
to
에 의하다,
to create.
에 의하면,
The whole construction attaches to a noun and creates the meaning of according to that noun. For example,
신문에 의하면,
according to the newspaper,
소문에 의하면,
according to rumors,
그 사람의 말에 의하면,
according to what that person says. These constructions can now be placed in sentences where appropriate.
신문에 의하면 심장병 사망률은 아주 높아요.
According to the newspaper, the death rate for heart disease is very high.
소문에 의하면 그 학생은 학교에서 자퇴했어요.
According to rumors, that student dropped out of school.
그 사람의 말에 의하면 옥수수 밭은 저쪽이에요.
According to what that person says, the cornfield is that way. More examples.
심판에 의하면 저는 규칙을 어겼어요.
According to the referee, I broke the rules.
치과 의사에 의하면 입에 잇몸병이 생겼어요.
According to the dentist, a gum disease sprung up in my mouth.
한국 사람에 의하면 이 나물을 먹으면 힘이 생겨요.
According to Korean people, if you eat this plant herb, you will get energy.
면접을 자주 하는 사람들에 의하면 면접을 볼 때 첫인상은 제일 중요하다고요.
According to people to do, give, interviews. When you get interviews, they say the most important thing is the first impression, comma. The second usage of
에 의하다,
is a little bit more complicated, but still nothing to worry about. By attaching
아어,
to,
에 의하다,
you can create.
에 의해,
This is attached to nouns to create the meaning of due to. You were first introduced to
에 의해,
way back in lesson 14. As you learned in that lesson, you can attach
에,
or
에 의해,
to nouns in passive sentences. Remember that a passive verb cannot act on an object. This means that you can never attach the particle
을을,
to a noun that is predicted by a passive verb. For example,
밥은 제공된다.
food is provided.
집은 청소되었다.
The house was cleaned.
음식은 요리됐다.
The food was cooked. Though there can never be an object in a passive sentence, other nouns can be in the sentence to provide more information. In English we use words like by in passive sentences to provide additional information. For example, food is provided by the school, the house was cleaned by my father, the food was cooked by the chef. In Korean, when something is done by a non-person, you can attach
에 의해
to that word. For example,
밥은 제공된다.
food is provided.
밥은 학교에 의해 제공된다.
Food is provided by the school. Also remember that
에게
is the particle that has the same role of
에 의해
in these cases, but is used when the passive act is done by a person. For example,
집은 청소되었다.
the house was cleaned.
집은 아버지에게 청소되었다.
The house was cleaned by my dad.
집은 청소기에 의해 청소되었다.
The house was cleaned by the vacuum cleaner. Although acceptable and understandable, remember that Korean sentences are usually not natural when said in the passive voice. However, it is important to know because you will come across it from time to time. Comma, tilde
에 의해
can also be used in active sentences. When used in active sentences, the most common translation for
에 의해
is due to. For example,
사고에 의해
due to the accident.
고속도로에서 발생한 사고에 의해 사람들이 지나가지 못했어요.
Due to the accident that occurred on the highway, people couldn't pass. Because of the translation, the use of
에 의해
in active sentences appears to be completely different than its use in passive sentences. When you think about it, however, they essentially have the same role in their respective sentences. In English, we might use different words, so it sounds like they are different, but Korean people would use
에 의해
in both of these situations. Passive, the door was open, the wind active, people couldn't pass the accident. If I told you to fill in the blanks in those two sentences, what would you write? Assume I also told you to not use the word because we have already talked about how to say that in Korean. The most natural way to say those two, in my mind, would be passive. The door was opened by the wind active. People couldn't pass due to the accident. In both sentences the words by and due to have the same role. In both situations, we have a noun that is causing the predicating verb to occur, regardless of if it is active or passive. Even more so, in some situations the words by or due to could be interchanged in the English translation without sounding awkward. For example,
공사에 의해 이 길은 막혔습니다.
due to the construction, this road is blocked.
공사에 의해 이 길은 막혔습니다.
This road is blocked by the construction.
문이 바람에 의해 열렸어요.
The door was opened by the wind.
문이 바람에 의해 열렸어요.
The door was opened due to the wind. Below are many more examples of
에 의해
being used in active sentences.
안개에 의해 비행기가 못 떴어요.
The plane couldn't take off due to the fog.
안개에 의해 오이가 다 상했어요.
All of the cucumbers spoiled due to the fog.
헬로윈에 의해 호박 가격이 올랐어요.
The price of pumpkins rose due to Halloween.
구름에 의해 저는 석양을 잘 못 봤어요.
I couldn't see the sunset due to the clouds.
알람 소리에 의해 저는 뒷정리를 못 했어요.
I couldn't clean up due to the alarm going off.
먼 거리에 의해 저는 저의 여자친구를 자주 못 만나요.
I can't meet my girlfriend often due to the long distance.
성차별에 의해 여자들이 회사에서 승진하는 게 힘들어요.
It is difficult for women to be promoted in the workplace due to sexual discrimination. As I mentioned earlier in my description, in each situation what we have is a noun that is causing the predicating verb to occur. You might be wondering what difference would be created if
때문에
were used in these situations instead. For example, look at the following two sentences.
안개 때문에 비행기가 못 떴어요.
The plane couldn't take off because of the fog.
공사 때문에 이 길은 막혔습니다.
The road is blocked because of the construction. Which one would sound more natural? The plane couldn't take off due to the fog, or the plane couldn't take off because of the fog, and the road is blocked due to the construction, or the road is blocked because of the construction. In my mind, their differences don't need to be distinguished. In English, and in Korean, there can be more than one way to express the same idea. In speech, both in English and in Korean, I would be more inclined to use because and.
때문에
That doesn't mean that using due to and
의해.
Never happens, though, specifically, in print, newspapers or signs on the road. For example, you might see due to or.
에 의해.
More often, also note that
니은.
can be added to
에 의하다.
to allow it to describe an upcoming noun. We saw this being done with words of similar function like
대하다, 관하다,
an
관련하다.
in lesson 34. For example,
환경에 대해.
about the environment,
환경에 대한 것.
a thing about the environment,
환경에 관해.
about regarding the environment,
환경에 관한 것.
a thing about regarding the environment,
환경에 관련해.
about regarding the environment,
환경에 관련한 것.
a thing about regarding the environment. Tilde
에 의하다.
can also be used in this same way, that is, you can use
에 의하다.
to describe an upcoming noun. For example,
담배에 의한 사망은 증가하고 있어요.
deaths due to smoking are increasing.
매년 인종차별에 의한 사망자가 늘고 있어요.
Every year, the number of deaths due to racism, racial discrimination, is increasing.
날씨에 의한 피해는 예방할 수 없는 문제예요.
Damage due to weather is a problem that we can't prevent.
모르는 사람과 같은 집에서 살면 오해에 의한 싸움이 자주 생겨요.
If you live with a person you don't know, fights due to misunderstandings often occur. That is all you need to know about.
에 의하다.
But I would like to also introduce you to another similar grammatical principle before this lesson finishes. Full stop.
Duetto.
으로 인하다.
As you learned in the previous section,
에 의해.
can be used to indicate the noun that is causing a predicating verb to occur. When used like this, it can be replaced by
으로 인해.
with little or no difference in meaning. Korean people say that the following sentences are identical to the sentences in the previous section where
에 의해.
is used.
안개로 인해 비행기가 못 떴어요. 안개로 인해 오이가 다 상했어요. 헬로윈으로 인해 호박 가격이 올랐어요. 구름으로 인해 저는 석양을 잘 못 봤어요. 알람 소리로 인해 저는 뒷정리를 못했어요. 먼 거리에 인해 저는 저의 여자친구를 자주 못 만나요. 성차별로 인해 여자들이 회사에서 승진하는 게 힘들어요.
However, you can replace
에 의하다.
with
으로 인하다.
when
으면.
is attached to create the meaning according to. For example, the following wouldn't be used in Korean.
신문으로 인하면 심장병 사망률은 아주 높아요.
Like,
에 의하다.
the typical translation for
으로 인하다.
is due to. If you are pressed to find a different English translation to distinguish them, you could use as a result of. Below are some new examples.
그 사람은 사고로 인해 목숨을 잃었어요.
That person died from, due to as a result of, a car accident.
저는 야외 모임을 비로 인해 취소했어요.
I canceled a meeting outside due to as a result of the rain.
날씨로 인해 콘서트가 취소되었습니다.
The concert was canceled due to as a result of the weather. Like,
에 의하다, 으로 인하다.
can also be used to describe an upcoming noun. For example,
담배에 인한 사망,
deaths due to smoking,
호우로 인한 홍수,
a flood due to heavy rain,
지진으로 인한 피해,
damage due to an earthquake. These described nouns can then go into sentences where appropriate. For example,
담배에 인한 사망은 증가하고 있어요.
deaths due to smoking are increasing.
그 지역에서 호우로 인한 홍수가 많이 생겨요.
In this region area, there are a lot of floods that are caused by heavy rain.
이번에 다행히 지진으로 인한 피해가 없었어요.
Thankfully, there was no damage due to the earthquake this time. That's it for this lesson. For more info, please visit howtostudykorean.com.